We're back here at Thunderhead Sports Bar and Grill. Dar Danielson on CISN.TV, and joining us now is someone you probably see quite a bit on our broadcasts. We always appreciate Joe Sigrist coming up, usually between halftime of the boys' game after your game, and appreciate that. It's always nice to talk with you. And going to talk a little bit this week about a lot of stuff happening.
Yeah.
That's the thing about basketball. You know, football, you got a whole week to prepare, and then you get the next game. In basketball, things roll right along, and moved up in the rankings to number one. Then you went up to Mason City and had a tight ball game up there. And let's talk a little bit how that game played out.
Yeah, we had an 11-point lead early, and then an 8-point lead entering the fourth quarter, and let it slip away a little bit. Mason City gets out and transition really well. Very similar team to how we play. So I thought they beat us down the floor a little bit in the fourth quarter, and we didn't communicate as much as we needed to toward the end. But we're using it as a positive and trying to get better in practice every day. And I think our girls have done that since that loss.
Yeah, because you like to get out and run a little bit if you can, right? And so then sometimes when you see another team that does that and maybe does a little better than you or out hustling you, that kind of gives the players a little idea what they need to do, isn't it?
Yeah, the Meyer girls going to Iowa, and they've got some other good scorers and shooters. So it was our first true test of someone getting up and down the floor like we do. So it was a good little, test for us early, and I think we'll respond from it.
And rankings came out. You're number one. Now they'll come out again Thursday, and I don't know if they'll lost. Maybe you drop down, and because usually they look at the team that's undefeated. But I think we've talked about this in the past. The ratings, and how do you look at those? Of course, in December, it's a lot different than when you're looking at it in February, isn't it?
It is. We know our league is so tough in the CIML, and you've got to have your A game every night, or else you might get beat. And with teams like Waukee and Centennial and Southeast Polk and Dowling, we've all got a loss now. And so I think right now, early, it's not as big a deal as it will be after Christmas break. So we're just trying to get better and better each and every day in practice. I think that's where the true strides come right now. And if we do that, I like our chances in every game.
You'll face Waukee coming up. Do you look at the film or the video, or do you have a coach that does scouts games, or how do you guys work that out when you're looking at your next opponent? You know them, but they've changed a little bit. And how do you go about scouting another team then?
Yeah, we work hard on film. The girls actually had a little film session today while our teacher coaches had meetings. A lot of times our seniors lead that film session. We make notes for them. So, yes, our quality opponents, we study film pretty hard and try to put the players in the best possible position that we can.
How much can you, you can kind of pick up tendencies a little bit, can't you? Is there things that you pick up that maybe you see that, we want to try this or do this, exploit that?
Yeah, each game that we play has a unique game plan. Waukee has 3 very solid scorers and a good inside post presence. So we worked on that kind of stuff today in practice, and our girls had a great practice tonight. They were real tuned in to what the game plan was going to be for Friday night. So I expect a good performance on Friday night.
Lindy, they always talk about the self-scouting. Do you do some of that too when you look at the games and say, hey, we did this play, maybe we didn't run this right, or maybe we should have pulled up here and that? Do you do a lot of that too? Yeah,
and like I said, that Friday loss at Mason City gave us a good time to reflect on what we could have done better. I didn't have practice on Sunday. I rather told the girls to study the fourth quarter, just watch the fourth quarter and pick out some things that you could have maybe done better and what we could have done better as a team. And they wrote me some page-long reflections, and it was really good to get their insight and see how that kind of meshed with ours, and it's always really good to communicate.
Now, you didn't have practice on Sunday because you wanted to watch football, right? Or no, you had other stuff to do, right?
Family stuff.
Family
My kids
stuff.
had
Yeah,
games.
sure.
So.
Yeah, right. Family stuff you want to do. We're talking with Joe Sigrist, the head girls basketball coach at Valley High School. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back and talk a little bit more with him here at the Thunderhead Bar and Grill in Ankeny. Welcome back to the Thunderhead Sports Bar and Grill here in Ankeny. Dar Danielson with you on CISN.TV, and my guest this evening is Joe Sigrist, the head girls basketball coach. Is it 7 seasons now?
Yes.
7 now?
7 seasons.
Won the title in 2017, and got a big game coming up against Waukee on Friday night. You talked a little bit about it. Peyton Rao, the big inside presence, and you guys played the Ankeny Centennial team, inside presence there, and is some of that trying to get it down the floor and before they can get the inside set up and get your plays going with that, or what do you usually do when you have a strong post presence? Because we talked about a few times you don't have a lot of super tall girls, but right. So let's talk a bit about the strategy in that.
Yeah, I mean, Waukee is a little different style than Centennial because they will get out and run with us a little bit more, but we still think that we might have an advantage of beating that big girl down the floor. Now, Rao's a very athletic post, so there's a lot different game planning that goes into a Waukee than that does a Centennial. But yeah, we always want to get out and run and get layups. I mean, those are the easiest shots that you can have, and then kick out for 3.
And then I'm assuming too, as the game goes on, they might determine, well, we're going to try to stop Zoe on the drive, or we're going to play tight on, give them the 3, maybe give them the drive, and then you have to kind of adjust as a coaching staff a little bit, and the players too, don't you, and how they're playing you as you get into the game?
Oh, sure. We know a lot of emphasis is going to be put on Zoe Young. She just broke our assist record last night. She's averaging 23 points a game. So the more emphasis that's put on her, that's why we really have to work at getting the other 4 girls and then the girls off the bench involved early, get their shot and confidence going, and then that opens it up for Zoe later too.
And you've had a chance to play quite a few off the bench this year, and I think we've talked about it during games. They've come in and they've played really well in that time, and sometimes that's not easy when you're coming in and know you got to come in and play right away, and you get a few minutes and you got to make the most out of it, isn't it?
Yeah, roles are starting to really get identified for us since we're 7 games in now. So yeah, we're looking for a spark off of the bench from someone playing defense, someone giving us a little more banging and rebounding, and then someone giving us that speed or that shooting. So girls are really buying into their roles right now.
So I expect probably another good tight ball game here Friday night, huh?
Yeah, I mean, we're at Waukee. It's a tough place to play. Different backdrop and lighting than our gym for sure. Our
they're more like a big field house. Yeah,
right.
Different style. Yeah, since they opened that up, but we played there a few times and kind of gotten used to that. And Mom be watching probably in that game.
I hope so. I told her I was coming out here to do this interview tonight. So
back in Ohio, she always likes to see you on TV. It's kind of nice to get to do that. And,
yeah, Mom in Ohio, Dad in Georgia. So hi guys.
We talked a little bit about you mentioned your family, but when you're not coaching basketball and doing that and working on teaching stuff, what do you like to do to just relax and take it easy?
I love watching my 2 boys play basketball. That's why I give a lot of the weekends off for our girls. Sometimes we'll come in on a Sunday evening, but my 2 boys always have tournaments going on Saturday and Sunday. And
how old are they now?
11 and soon to be 9 on Friday.
Wow.
So Waukee Day, I'll have a 9-year-old running around.
Wow. And now, how do you play that as a parent who's also a coach, and what do you what's your philosophy on that and working with them?
It's tough. They know I'm real busy in the winter with coaching, but being a teacher too, I spend a ton of time with them in the summer. They're home with Dad, so we have our year takes on totally different seasons, just like the weather does. So,
but I mean, as far as the do they come and say, well, Dad, and my shot's not going, or Dad, do I should I do can teach you crossover, as far as that coaching, because I know a lot of parents think they're a coach, but they aren't.
Yeah.
But, so how do you handle that? As you let them come to you, you try to work with them, or what's the philosophy there?
My 2 boys do an excellent job watching our girls play. and they learn more from them on the floor than they would me barking something at them.
Yeah.
So they're really intuitive and watch what we do well as a team, and I've loved that. You know, they've grown up. You know, these 7 years that I've been the Valley Girls coach, they've grown up with it, being our ball boys and coming to all these games. So basketball's a part of their life, and they love it.
Yeah, so they may see Zoe Young do a move, or Alex Honnold, you know, and then say, "Oh, I'm going to try that," you know, and that's kind of cool, isn't it, to see him follow that and try to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I texted Alex last week because she has a real knack for just jumping up, you know, in the press and snatching a ball out of the air. You've seen that.
Yeah, I've seen it out of nowhere,
And Grady, my oldest, did that in a tournament last weekend. He's like, "Dad, did you see me do that?" You know, Alex, I did what Alex did. So she got a kick out of that when I texted her that.
Yeah. What other sports do they play? A little bit of everything now?
They're 4-sport athletes. We live on a golf course in Norwalk, so we golf a little bit in the summer. Baseball, basketball, and a little bit of soccer, too.
All right, well, got a big game coming up. We'll have that on CISN.TV here Friday night, the boys and girls doubleheader, and sure we'll talk to you sometime during or after. Well, not during the game, but sometime around that game, and good luck to you on Friday night, Coach. We'll see you then.
Thanks a lot, Doug.
That's Coach Joe Sigrist of the Valley Girls here. We're at the Thunderhead Sports Bar and Grill. We'll take a break and be back with more after this.